Hi, welcome to my channel. This channel is about astronomy, against the current view of the astronomy, against the Big Bang. But I want to start a list, a philosophical list about the creation of the atoms, of the matter, space-time, and things like this. I'm saying like a tea science, a coffee science. I always have here like a pretext for science, a cup of tea, or this is a soluble coffee. So I took a video from the YouTube, like they treat space-time YouTube channel, 10 minutes video, and I will discuss the entire length of the video. So 10 minutes. He put something from Brian Greene. You hear the voice, you'll not see the face in original material. It is like this. And the Green Tyson, Neil deGrasse Tyson, okay, if you know them. So but I want to show to you the false physics that they are presenting. This space-time guy included Brian Greene, but in mainly this video is about the philosophy of creation, how matter come to be, how these atoms, this matter appear, from where appear. So a list of philosophy. I study philosophy. I have a degree in philosophy. I'm from Europe. I studied in Bucharest, Romania capital. Okay, so I discovered the Big Bang is false. You will see that I'm telling you that the quantum mechanics is false and Einstein physics is false in my channel. The Big Bang. When you discover the Big Bang is false, many things fall down. So by like implication, I discovered this. I study the philosophy of science and the philosophy of physics and things like this. So if you want to wonder yourself about my background, but mainly philosophy, logical philosophy. So now about the creation, nobody speaks correct about the creation of matter, space, time, matter. So it's going to be a hard video and long, and it's a series of them, an entire list. So where I will present to you how matter, loose copper, from nothing came, or how, mainly philosophical video. But I will intersect with this video. If you understood, maybe I made my duty. Nobody speaks about this stuff. So it's a lengthy video, but okay, I don't have any choice but to do it. Okay, you will see that they are presenting false science. I always tell you, gravity is not attraction. Brian Greene says that gravity is not attraction. You do not believe that these guys do not know correct science. The equation do not speak and they are interpreting in words wrongly. So how these guys can know what is before the Big Bang? This idea, or how the matter come, if they do not are masters of their domain, like if they do not understand even their domain, science, physics, astrophysics domain. So that's why I'll proceed to show to you this guy from space-time. It is an ordinary YouTuber maybe, but these guys are pretending to know science, Brian Greene and Tyson. Okay, so that's why I will like put dynamite on their building of science to show to you that they do not know science, and then I intersect this philosophy, real philosophy stuff that mainly I thought of it. Okay, but you only contradict the Big Bang. So the main mistake, if you want to understand for sure now, universe comes from Latin. It means unique, and verse, like in poems. A verse is a row, a written a single row, like this, a row, a spoken row, not a single word, a row, like a few words, universe, a single spoken sentence, like this, universe. But and this is the first cause to put some stupid things in your mind. The Greeks named the totality of the creation cosmos. That's why the Russians were named cosmonauts, not astronauts. Astronaut means to navigate, nautes, through the stars. So we do not reach, if you consider only the moon, the stars. So that's why cosmonauts, in cosmos, in space, the Russian were more properly named, like us, like cosmonauts. The cosmos comes from Greek. It's a term for the totality, like a universe, universal, like it's a universal language, a universal law, universe. This is general, beyond general, like in physics. So the cosmos of the Greeks named the totality of the creation, and they were like stupid somehow, because how can you know the totality of the creation? You have a concept, you say, but if you do not see it, you go with a boat, like you navigate the moon, and you say that you see everything. So, but it is a term invented to understand this metaphysics, this physics of the cosmos. Like you barely navigate from an island to an island, and you see that you are the entire cosmos. But philosophically, you need a term to say about everything, how everything come to be. Even though you do not know, you suppose everything, how everything comes, how everything appears. And this is a philosophical questions, okay? So that's why maybe a lengthy video, I've told you, but so you must listen. Maybe it would answer interruptions, but I'm filming like half minutes and it breaks the video and makes another one. So philosophy, coffee philosophy, science, and in the middle of this video I'll put a science passage, like all this video commenting, and it'll be an entire series, like at least 4 videos, an hour and a half video, but I make a full list, okay? So this is the first course in the Bible, Jewish Bible. So in the old times they have, I make a short history also, okay? To say how the stars, they were not blind, they were seeing the stars on the sky, night sky, with the naked eye, okay? You can see the stars, but you are wondering from where the stars come, from where the sea that you navigate on comes, the water, the air, the material, the rocks, the metals, and where they knew gases, they knew magnets, they knew many things, maybe even electricity. The Egyptians, they were, if you know, some proof that they knew battery and things like this. A battery, a whole battery with from wine, okay, acetic wine, okay. So they were wondering from where all this came, okay. And this is a Greek term. The philosophy in Greek appears 600 before Christ. Like the first guy who wrote something coherent about the appearance, and they were saying that everything is water, or everything is like a material, a hard material. But before this, so this is the cosmos come. The universe is a Latin word that it is equivalent with this, like with cosmos, but like it implies. So, but now this is the first point of the mistake. Are you sure that you are seeing everything? You are seeing the stars, but maybe there is not another kind of material that you do not see is beyond the stars, beyond somehow. How do you are saying through some parallel stuff, like and dimension? What kind of material is? So you're not allowed to say that you are seeing the universe. This is the first mistake that the physics guys make, okay? So if they do not have control on their domain, how could they have control on the philosophy? And this bothers me, because they do not know science even, and they are pretending to know philosophy even, okay? So this is what bothers me. So that's why I started to speak science philosophy, like to understand science. Okay, so because I discovered the Big Bang anyhow, so I was constrained to okay. Nonetheless, I love this subject. If you have patience, you will listen. If not, okay. So now space time. From where space time, everything is spatial. Is time. Any object has time, has a space. From where appeared. Okay. So in the Jewish Bible there is an account prior the philosophy of the Greeks that started 600. The prophets were writing, like Isaiah the prophet, Jeremiah, like before the philosophy in the Greek philosophy appeared, and mainly they took from for all the old knowledge from Egypt, from Jewish guy even. If you do not know this, but I'm telling you, okay. So before this in the Jewish Bible, to give an account of how the stars appeared, prior to any Greeks have the philosophy, Moses wrote. So you can consider an ancient text about the cosmos, apparition of the universe. How do you understand? Like, it's a wrong term. And Moses said how the stars came to be. Nobody treats this serious anymore, that to believe that it is a correct account of how the stars appeared before the Greeks. But now is the mistakes. Moses did not say universe. Why? And cosmos. It is a Greek term. He did not say how God created the cosmos of the universe. Moses wrote the sky and the earth. The plural, skies and earth. So this is what they do not understand. By taking this term universe and cosmos, they do not understand that Moses was entitled not to say the universe, because he knew that we did not see the entire totality of the creation. The cosmos of the universe is a totality of creation.
The Big Bang explains the evolution of the universe from a starting density and temperature that is currently well beyond humanity's capability to replicate. Thus, the most extreme conditions and earliest times of the universe are speculative, and any explanation for what caused the Big Bang should be taken with a grain of salt. Nevertheless, that shouldn't prevent us asking questions like, what was there before the Big Bang?
So the cosmos or the universe is a name for a totality of the creation. So Moses did not write this. He did not write how God made the totality of the creation, the skies and the earth, and in the previous maybe ulterior books or some interprets of the Bible, they were saying after Christ that there was another sky before us, prior to ours, an angel. So it is a created still sky of angel skies, but it is prior us, before us. Even in St. Peter letter, he says they forget intentionally that the skies were but old. So again, in the Bible language, prior Jewish writings, they are still maintaining the terms skies and earth. So that's why you do not believe, but the second letter of St. Peter, the fourth chapter, it is a cosmological letter. He says how the universe was created. How do you say universe? He says in the second letter, like, but again you are tricked, because he says skies or heavens and the earth. He does not use the cosmos term. It's because it's a Greek term, okay? So I study philosophy, and I'll tell you why all of this, okay? So again, you do not believe that St. Peter wrote not only the creation of the skies and the earth, but the disparition of the sky and the earth. Because now it is the problem in the current astronomy days, how the skies and earth or the universe will disappear, and they have three models interpreting wrongly the gravity. They are saying the gravity is attraction. So the gravity will not have attraction to stop the expansion. The expansion is false. But these are three models, and will expand the infinitely expansion, because we'll break the point that it will attract together galaxies like this. Okay, so in other cases they will put the brakes, like stand still, and another one that the gravity will advance, will conquer, and will bring back a big crunch. And this is the current presuppositions. But you do not understand that this was already told about Saint Peter, how the skies will disappear. In the second letter, third book, he says the sky will burn with fire. He says, so will ignite, but it does not refer to the universe, but only of our sky. And now you'll understand that we cannot see only our sky, not the totality of the universe, of the creation. Okay, so that's why there are some problems with firmament, rakia, for all of you who know a little bit of the subject. But sorry, but it is in the beginning of the list. It's a long video, but a philosophical video. But now they are saying what was prior the universe, and I will insert from this video, only 10 minutes, from Space Time, the channel, what he is saying, and in the middle of this video I'll comment, if you have patience, the science part that all they are saying wrong.
However, another answer is that the very question may not make as much sense as the words seem to suggest. We know how to parse that sentence. We know what it means to talk about the moment before the Big Bang, because we fully understand the meaning of that kind of sentence. But it could be that when it comes to the Big Bang, the sentence actually doesn't mean anything. It could be that the Big Bang was the place where time itself started. Talk about 1 billion years ago or 10 billion years ago, but if you go to 13.8 billion years ago, the Big Bang, that may be where time started. And you can't go further back in time than the very origin of time itself.
Unsure that they falsified thermodynamics. Thermodynamics is a limited function. We can boil at 100 degrees. The function stops, and they say there are billions of degrees of the Big Bang. You will see this. They are saying this. They are falsifying the gravity, saying that gravity is attraction. These rocks do not attract nor in space. No bigger it is, a rock. A rock do not produce mechanical work. So again, gravity is a simple Newtonian force. Put in a circle. It is not a basic law force. The force is a basic law. The gravity is a complementary law of the mechanical work done by a force over a space. And the gravity means to circulate. And it is not a force, a gravity force due to mass. It is a pushing force, so I have told you on shore. So you will see that they are falsifying this.
The idea that I think most physicists or cosmologists buy into at the moment is that gravity can have two manifestations. The usual form of gravity is the attractive version. You drop something toward the Earth and it moves downward because the Earth and the object pull on each other. That's the ordinary gravity that we experience every day of our lives. But Einstein's equations actually allow gravity to also be repulsive. It can push outward as opposed to just pulling inward. And this is something that we have never experienced, because the gravity created by a rocky object like the Earth is always the attractive variety. The gravity created by the sun, again, a compact object, is always the attractive variety. But Einstein's math shows that if you don't have a rocky object that's isolated in space, but rather energy that is uniformly spread through a region of space, that kind of entity yields repulsive gravity. If the very early universe, if it was filled with a uniform bath of this energy, we call it the inflaton field, the name doesn't matter, but if it was filled with that energy, it would have been subject to repulsive gravity. What does repulsive gravity do? Pushes everything apart, causes everything to rush outward. So the bang of the Big Bang may have been a spark of repulsive gravity operating with a tiny region of space that pushed everything apart.
But this is a more burning matter, like a philosophical matter. Okay, so now so now how can they speak about philosophy if they do not know their domain of science? So that's why, what was prior to the Big Bang, they are saying, like, you see this, like I inserted, they are saying some stuff, but it means nothing. Brian Greene says somehow, but he does not understand. In his own words, he says that he does not understand. It means some things, but it doesn't mean anything. So how can you crack this? Okay, in the old times, if you're now referring at the entire matter, space-time matter, we do not see how it is. Only these actual science guys with lies, they are pretending that we know all the fundamental forces and all the fundamental law in the atoms and energy of movement and everything. And they do not believe that it could be different kinds of arrangement of matter. They do not know this kind of matter even. Imagine a full river of mercury, liquid mercury. Mercury is liquid at a temperature, normal temperature on Earth, on 30 degrees Celsius, like body temperature. Now imagine like there is a cloud and produce some thermical energy. So two clouds to have, like this is a cloud, this is a cloud, and like you have some circuit between the clouds, like to have some poles, how the energy come from a pole to a pole, minus to plus, okay, like in a battery. These clouds, imagine this only, act like a circuit, and from a cloud, an energy, it is circulating from a cloud to a cloud to make something like a battery. So this energy will produce a constant temperature like on Earth, 30 degrees Celsius. Like where mercury is liquid. And now imagine a sea of liquid mercury. Not like a ball, not in these two clouds. So you understand this is from a mental experiment from ordinary matter with mercury and some clouds, like hydrogen, oxygen clouds, being in vapor state, producing electromagnetic between them and maintaining like a sea of mercury. Imagine that in this sea of mercury there could be stuff. Not everything must be like a sphere with the planets, and this is that you understand wrong, okay? So we'll come to this, but for you to understand now. So even the ordinary matter, the point is they do not know how can be arranged. They are pretending that they know how ordinary matter can be arranged, but they do not know this, okay? They only pretend to. But now in this philosophical manner, to understand from where the universe came, but now you understand it's like in a philosophical matter. I'm not referring like all the matter, like metaphysical. If you suppose the cosmos of totality, how the whole totality come to be, okay? So I've made like this some slides being from philosophy, like some syllogism, like if you know a syllogistic manner of explaining to you this, okay? So if you know the Descartes syllogism, what it is a syllogism? A syllogism, it is like logical deduction from two premises. You have A and B premises and you extract some conclusion. Like this is the basis even of the science, okay? So now I want to tell you these philosophical things. I watching my clock, that my what I'm filming films like 15 minutes and interrupts and then makes another video. So if I will speak, you will jump and maybe you lose something what I'm telling. So that's why. So now you must understand this. What was before the matter existed? Nothing. They were in the old times saying this word, from nothing came. Nihilo nihil, nothing produced nothing. So because of the basis of an existence, you have to have an existence. You cannot have the basis of an existence an unexistence or nothing. Okay, so if you take now the universe of the cosmos or of the totality of the matter at the basis, this is a kind of an existence, no matter you do not understand what it is a kind of existence. So can you have at the base of an existent non-existence? A non-existent object can create an existent object, or this object came from another kind of existence. So if you not this kind of existence came from another existence, you have an infinite row of existence that produce infinite row of existence. So that's why you cannot deduce how from nothing. You can suppose that nothing was the original. So now you have a problem. Was material eternal? Had a temporal beginning? Or and some of them wanted to say that has a beginning. So some of them, this guy who was being priest, he believed that he makes some duty for God. If you have a beginning, God is a beginner of the beginning. Okay, there's even an argument like this, but they falsify all the science. So can you have a beginning, or can you deduce from the beginning of God, or a prior existence of the matter, or you do not have it? So that's why they prefer to put a beginning, but somehow to prove that the God exists, but that they are falsify the entire science in this process. Okay, so now let me show you this. Okay, now let me show you this. Okay, I talk a lot, but you must understand this. Okay, so now you must understand this like a slideshow. Like from nothing the universe comes. You see, from nothing the universe comes or appeared. So you must understand that logically it is not equivalent with this one, with this one. So it is not equivalent, logical equivalent with this one. God created from nothing the universe. So sorry, but you see, these guys not knowing science, they are presenting some false science. So I made some steps for you to understand. But maybe you are not so stupid. Maybe you understand. Okay. So you must understand. I made philosophy and logic. If you want to make in logic these two propositions, they are not equivalent. From nothing came the universe, or God creating from nothing the universe. Because one supposes God prior the universe. You understand? So he created from nothing. God in this case could be a totality of existence. Like a saying says, God is the name of a totality of existence. So it could be God like a totality of existence, or being a totality of existence to negate a part of existence, to create from that negation. So maybe it's hard, but if you listen maybe twice, you'll understand this video. Okay, so to negate, like if you want to have nothing, you negate, you destroy something, an object. So you destroy it. I have this rock, I don't have it anymore. Or the negation disappears it, make something to it, like I give it, or I burn it, or I make something to the existence. So now you can have from an existent, non-existent, logical non-existence, from logic. If you had water, you boil it, you evaporate it. So you start it with an existence, with a totality, with a cup of a liquid, but you boil it and you have it, you understand? So the logical negation can act on an existence or totality of existence. And we know this like logically. So, but this another one, from nothing the universe comes. You cannot make the same process, because you see, in this case, God, you can treat God like a cup, like your existence that you had. And then the totality of some kind of existence acts on itself, on existence, to negate some part of his or himself, And by negating the whole totality even of the existence that it is, you can have the concept of nothing. So if you suppose that God is a totality of existence, of being, the negation acting on God, like he negated himself, like if you understand this, it's a profound thing. It is not a hard thing. So if you are like being that, if you took some joy in this, you understand that it is something beautiful and hard. So it is a totality of existence, God, the prior totality of existence, or the prior totality of the cosmos existence. So now the negation can act on itself, on God, and he negates himself like a totality in having nothing. Nothing being the negation of the totality of the existence, conceptual. And from this negation of the totality, it is a kind of nothing, logical nothing. So he created the universe. So now you can understand that you can have like this negation of the totality of the... So you understand, this is pure law. I study philosophy and logic and philosophy of science and things like this. So if you want to symbolize this in logic, maybe some of you know logics, okay? You understand that from nothing is like a particular kind of stuff in logic. An object is like nothing, is from an object that it is nothing came existence, the universe, a totality. So from nothing came a totality. You symbolize like it is not symbolized when you symbolize in the logical form of propositional logic. You cannot. It is that they are not formalized in the same matter. You have an existent totality, and here you have a particular, like an object. So they are not functioning logically identical, you see. So you cannot pull something from nothing, but in the case that you have something logical prior to any totality of the existence, you understand. So now why I made this because you can say there was an old time saying that the existence or the material came from God, like this co-eternal with God, okay? Like they do not understood how something or God or something can produce another thing that it is itself, okay? So in this case you have a problem of coexistence or matter in eternity with God. You understand? So they wanted to say that has a beginning, if you follow me, but not knowing this Death Land philosophy. These guys like this Catholic priest wanted to be a beginning, and he invented like a prilaton that moved the origin of the Big Bang, okay? Lemaitre priest. So wanted to say, because they were arguing if it is infinite. The Greeks said if you saw the stars rotate in circle like this, they knew this, okay, from ancient times. They knew this. The stars rotate in circle. They suppose that a circle not having a beginning and somehow it is eternal. A circle means eternal movement like this. So prior to know what it is, the totality of existence, and to not put, like Einstein said, put the cosmological constant, and Einstein's false physics, okay? They wanted to make some light in this complicated philosophical stuff, but not having the power of mind. They employed some tricks like this. So can you have a beginning? Can you depistate the beginning of the matter? If they are pretending that the background radiation, you must have atoms, and the background radiation presupposes atoms, and it is not, you cannot produce the thermodynamic being limited function. You have billions of degrees so if you take my temperature, you like simply said, if you have the microwave background radiation, you could not presuppose that it came from a Big Bang, from a beginning. Like my temperature, you see, you take my temperature, 30 degrees, let's say 37 degrees, the human body temperature, okay? Can you suppose that my temperature body came from 1 billion degrees temperature? So you register the temperature on an object, you put a thermometer in this cup of tea, coffee, soluble coffee. Can you suppose that this temperature of this cup of coffee came from 10,000 degrees? Because water boils 100 degrees. So you are not allowed to take some, you observe the micro background radiation, but you are not allowed to say from temperature that my temperature came from the Big Bang. So it is false logical argument, this. You observe that is some radiation, but you are not allowed to say that it came from billion degrees, falsifying thermodynamics, okay? So this, so wanted to take the part of Lemaitre, Hubble, pretending that he knew that Andromeda were receding from us, were receding. So his proof of the Andromeda was receding from us. Like, so now they say that Andromeda is approaching. Nothing is expanding, I'm telling you. But this is not a shock because we cannot see the universe, the totality of the creation. But now let's go again at the beginning of the matter, but not at the Big Bang. Big Bang is false. Can you understand how this matter appeared from nothing? So this is how they are falsifying, like in old style philosophy, that you can break this and put it in small pieces. These small pieces are atoms, smaller pieces are neutrinos, and radiation, things like this for you to not understand. Radiation suppose atoms, and it does not something scary. You can make a copy with microwave radiation. So, but have this raw radiation in it, and the radiation somehow combine to identify some. So this kind of reasoning was all stuff philosophy reasoning, supposing that is a prior material, a single material. Nowadays they say energy, even though this rock does not have an energy in it. Einstein does not say that energy equal mass equivalency. Einstein is false physics even. Okay, the energy is a kinetic energy. So can you identify a single form of matter? How they are saying at the Big Bang in 4 seconds? You'll watch this material. Okay. So now let's intersect now the science. Now you will came back. I speak more philosophy. Okay, it is more beautiful then.
To understand how the universe came to be, scientists combine mathematical models and observations and develop workable theories which explain the evolution of the cosmos. The Big Bang Theory, which is built upon the equations of classical general relativity, indicates a singularity at the origin of cosmic time. However, the physical theories of general relativity and quantum mechanics as currently realized are not applicable before the Planck epoch, which is the earliest period in time in the history of the universe, and correcting this would require the development of a correct treatment of quantum gravity. Certain quantum gravity treatments imply that time itself could be an emergent property, which leads some physicists to conclude that time did not exist before the Big Bang, while others are open to the possibility of time preceding the Big Bang. One of the common misconceptions about Big Bang model is that it fully explains the origin of the universe. However, the Big Bang model does not describe how energy, time, and space were caused, but rather it describes the emergence of the present universe from an ultra-dense and high-temperature initial state. It is misleading to visualize the Big Bang by comparing its size to everyday objects. When the size of the universe at Big Bang is described, it refers to the size of the observable universe and not the entire universe. To better understand the universe at its earliest state and its subsequent evolution, cosmologists have come up with the chronology of the universe, which describes the history and future of the universe according to Big Bang cosmology. The first picosecond of cosmic time, which is 1 trillionth of a second, includes the Planck epoch, during which currently established laws of physics may not apply. Comes the emergence in stages of the 4 known fundamental forces, first gravitation, and later the electromagnetic, weak and strong interactions, and the expansion of space itself and supercooling of the still immensely hot universe due to cosmic inflation. Tiny ripples in the universe at this stage are believed to be the basis of large-scale structures that formed much later. If we were to look at the universe 1 second after the Big Bang, we would see a 10 billion degree sea of neutrons, protons, electrons, anti-electrons or positrons, photons, and neutrinos. At about 1 second, neutrinos decouple. These neutrinos form the cosmic neutrino background.
So what this guy from science says, at the first seconds, billions of the second, he says a number. Then now you understand this, that the time I made a syllogism, like maybe I began to tell you, a syllogism like René Descartes syllogism. It means you have two premises and you extract a conclusion. This is how science works, okay, on a logical conclusion. So now they are supposing that you can decompose the matter in some pieces, small pieces, like radiation or something, energies, a basic concept. From that basic concept, everything gathers, makes, like atoms make, okay? So this is scientifically false, because this is what he is saying. But what is wrong in what he says? First of all, he falsified the time understanding. So he says first billions of the second. Let me tell you like this. Let's suppose that there are many particles. Now they are saying, let's say that there are many particles like this. 1, 2, these are particles, let's say. What do you want? Neutrinos. What do particles you want? They do not exist. They are pretending that they discover them. Subatomic particle. This is copper, okay, or this is an alloy, like alamas with tin or zinc. But prior to these atoms, they are pretending it was some radiation soup. Falsifying thermodynamics, I've told you, it says in the beginning of the video this. So you cannot have billions of degrees. We know only the speed of light. If you have a radiation that has a speed of light, there's a quantity of ondulation per volume. Let's say that my hands are light and there's a ondulation. You have to have a density and a vibration to have light. So you cannot collapse that density. They are falsifying even the densities. From 60s, 50s they made this. Like you collapse this in a bigger density that you can, because if the force will need it to collapse this will go to infinity. So in other words, to collapse this rock like 10 times more than it actually is, you have to have the infinite force. You have to apply all the universe to sit on it, to collapse it. You understand? If you take this rock and put it all over universe on top of it, to collapse is 10 times that it is, because the force needed to collapse will go to infinity. So he says that in biggest densities. So if you have maximum speed that we know, the speed of light. So now the maximum speed that we know is the speed of light. So now if you have some object that moves with the speed of light, you have or a wave, like this is a wave, or a particle that moves with the speed of light, like a bullet particle. But you cannot collapse that bullet particle further than it is. So you have a maximum density given by this particle and the speed of light. You do not know how to make the speed of light. Let's say that it is a particle or photon of light. This we cannot break it in two halves. We do not know this hour to cut it like in two, to cut light in two, to make a photon. And all the particles that they are saying they are inventing, antiparticles, antineutrinos, they do not exist. They were invented in 60s, they're crazy. And they took even Nobel Prize in this craziness, okay? So now, if you have this radiation, they are scaring you. It is like with bombs, radiation. Supposing that you are stupid, okay? There is a maximum density of any radiation per volume. So a maximum, if you have pure fire, you have a maximum thermical admitted thermical per volume. So if you have pure fire per volume, you cannot make that more fire like. So the temperature in your own Mendeleev is a limited function, okay? So now if you understood, they do not know how atom came. They are saying like there was a prior radiation, but nobody proves on the paper like this, okay?
To better understand the universe at its earliest state and its subsequent evolution, cosmologists have come up with the chronology of the universe, which describes the history and future of the universe according to Big Bang cosmology. The first picosecond of cosmic time, which is 1 trillionth of a second, includes the Planck epoch, during which currently established laws of physics may not apply. Comes the emergence in stages of the 4 known fundamental forces, first gravitation, and later the electromagnetic, weak and strong interactions, and the expansion of space itself and supercooling of the still immensely hot universe due to cosmic inflation. Tiny ripples in the universe at this stage are believed to be the basis of large-scale structures that formed much later. If we were to look at the universe 1 second after the Big Bang, we would see a 10 billion degree sea of neutrons, protons, electrons, anti-electrons or positrons, photons, and neutrinos. At about 1 second, neutrinos decouple. These neutrinos form the cosmic neutrino background.
So they're falsifying the density, and they're falsifying that somehow through radiation came the atoms, say atom fused, okay? So now you understand, like, you must take from another part this. You must take from another part like this. You see, this is our atoms. You cannot fuse hydrogen in carbon. Look, I have copper. You cannot fuse hydrogen in copper. But if you are lying this entire humanity, you show me how I give you water that contains hydrogen. That's why it means hydro. Hydro means water. So from water, jam from water, okay? Hydro, jam, like hydro central power plant, okay? So I give you water, you make me copper. Why there is so mines, they are extracting them. So these guys are lying to you like somehow they know, they have calculated somehow mathematically how the universe came, like 4,000 years after the Big Bang appeared hydrogen. Hydrogen fuses in helium, and then you cannot make silver, gold from helium. You cannot make. And they are lying to you, understand? So I'm telling you, so this age, if you go back towards the Big Bang, is false. It's false thinking, okay?
If primordial black holes exist, they are also formed about 1 second of cosmic time. Composite subatomic particles emerge, including protons and neutrons, and from about 2 minutes, conditions are suitable for nucleosynthesis. Around 25% of the protons and all of the neutrons fuse into heavier elements, initially deuterium, which itself quickly fuses into mainly an isotope of helium. By 20 minutes, the universe is no longer hot enough for nuclear fusion, but far too hot for neutral atoms to exist or photons to travel far. It is therefore an opaque plasma. The recombination epoch begins at around 18,000 years as electrons are combining with the helium nuclei. At around 47,000 years, as the universe cools, its behavior begins to be dominated by matter rather than radiation. At around 100,000 years, after the neutral helium atoms form, helium hydrate is the first molecule. Much later, hydrogen and helium hydride react to form molecular hydrogen, which is the fuel needed for the first stars. At about 370,000 years, neutral hydrogen atoms finished forming, and as a result, it also became transparent for the first time in our universe. The newly formed atoms, mainly hydrogen and helium with traces of lithium, quickly reach their lowest energy state by releasing photons, and these photons can still be detected today as the cosmic microwave background, or CMB. This is the oldest observation we currently have of the universe. While it is not known what could have preceded the hot dense state of the early universe, or how and why it originated, or even whether such questions are sensible, scientists have put forth numerous hypotheses and explanations.
So they are pretending somehow they calculate this. Like they know 100,000 how 100,000 years after Big Bang how the matter come to like it cool off and make the copper. Okay, so but now I want to tell you like from other parts. Okay, you do not suppose the origin of the matter like in an original point of temporal origin like this. So now to understand time, you must understand the relativity of time, even though Einstein's false physics like this. Each rock like this has a time. This rock has a time in it, inside it, and this rock has a time in it. Okay, so if you understand all the atoms like Lego pieces, if you understand, maybe you played some time with Lego pieces, you treat the atoms, these guys, okay, you have noble gases here, gold, a few atoms, I wrote a few atoms here, and you treat it like Lego pieces. The time is inside the Lego piece, like so each Lego piece is a bigger one, a smaller one, so a bigger time in it. So now you understand from chemistry, the interaction is like you combine two Lego pieces to combine them. Okay, you have a smaller piece of time with a bigger, smaller piece of time. You make a molecule of time. If you want to understand time like this, because we are discussing how time appears, you'll see that. So I've told you how I made this video to put some physics and a lot of philosophy. Okay, so now you have these two Lego pieces, a bigger one and a smaller one, a time pieces. You combine them and you make a bigger interaction time. What I'm telling you like this, let's say you have a water. Hydrogen has a molecule of, hydrogen has a piece of time in it, because if not it will be atemporal. So the time is inside the atom. It is not an external factor, it is inside the atom. And the hydrogen has a time in it, oxygen has another time in it. And you cannot obtain from the time of oxygen the time of hydrogen, of the time of hydrogen the time of oxygen. You cannot obtain you have to have these Lego pieces, both of them. You understand? So this is one of the concepts of quantum mechanics. There is a piece you cannot have. Only in mathematics you have a continuum function on space, like 0.0001, 0.002, 0.003, 0.004. Only in mathematics. But quantum means that you do not have the continuum of mathematics on a space. So in another way, you cannot derive in the continuum matter from hydrogen, oxygen. Each passing from each atom in another one is a miracle, temporal miracle, because they all have a personal clock in them, if you understand. So you cannot derive from this small rock, this bigger rock, let's say this hydrogen, this carbon, they have a different clocks in them. When you combine them, you combine the temporal clocks and you make different, like natrium chlor, like a salt, and you put in hydrogen, oxygen, water. Okay, so you have now different interlocking pieces like Lego pieces. Hydrogen piece with his time, oxygen piece with his time. You have natrium piece with his time, and like it and chlor. Like this is salt, natrium chlor, sodium, natrium chlor. Okay, so you have four atoms, like salt and water. Okay, and now you combine them. You put some Lego pieces. So the time of interaction, you can chronometrate the time of interaction. Okay, so now you understand that you cannot derive this. They are pretending somehow from the Big Bang, but you cannot have a temporal pass from hydrogen from here, and it is impossible, physically impossible. You cannot go from a clock to a clock. You can combine the clocks to make some pieces, but you have to have the Lego pieces to make many pieces, let's say how do you say, where you play with them, okay? But you have to have the pieces. But they are pretending now somehow from a soup of radiation, falsifying thermodynamics and the density allowed per varium. This soup collapses in hydrogen. This is false. Then the hydrogen fuses somehow with the false attraction in another atoms, and this is false. And I've told you that you cannot combine the clocks. But now let's imply another piece of philosophy, okay? This like is syllogism, logical syllogism. I began to tell you a few times, okay? What is a syllogism? You have two propositions, like in Descartes, in Latin, cogito ergo sum, dubito ergo cogito, cogito ergo sum, sum ergo Deus est. So I doubt, so that I think, so I exist, so the God exists. This is a syllogism made by René Descartes, a well-known philosopher. He said with this syllogism that the existence is proved by doubting that you are even existing. By doubting any truth, you doubt, but you cannot doubt that you doubt. So in this way, you find the existence of the cogito, of the thinking process. But the existence is, you cannot derive an existence from another existence. Like so you cannot have something at the basis of existence. Like, so this is a proof that something every other created the existence, because you cannot entail the existence of the necessity of the existence from your own cogito. So it is like a given fact. I will not comment this much more, okay? But it's a profound thing. Like you have many existence, René Descartes says, and an existence could not imply an existence of another object. There are many ways of existing, so that's why it must be a prior existence, total being, like, to create the existence. This is the mistakes of the first philosophers, that they wanted to reduce, like, on short, the reductionist or the unification or the unifying theory of physics is wrong. Like Einstein, what was Einstein searching, what this current stupid physics guy are searching to unify the entire physics in one block, common block. But on short, this is what you cannot do this. You see, these are logical operator. You have here negation, implication, logical negation, you negate A, non-A. Implication, I implies B, I implies A. Conjunction is and, A and B, and disjunction is or, A or B, okay? And equivalency, here A equals A equivalency, identical with A, okay? So they are written in many forms in logic, but you cannot reduce this in a mental process, the negation at end. To have a functional logic, you must have all this logic, okay? The negation, implication, but you cannot reduce the equivalency or the negation. So, like, you are understanding atoms, these are atoms, thought atoms, okay? So you cannot derive this, okay? So but what from like in analogy, what they were searching in ancient times, Greek times, if you can reduce the entire reality or a single substance, like, so they were saying like everything is water. The first philosopher, Greek philosopher, like physics philosopher, like a physics, stupid physics in this current day, they are trying to reduce the entire reality, like something, energy or a vibration or radiation, something, and that radiation somehow made everything. This is the mistake, because you have to have many things to have the, like, to think. You have to have these rational logical operators, and they are not, you cannot reduce one to another. So in another way, you must them, all of them at once, to think. with them. So like atom of force, atom means like unbreakable, like in old times. The Democrat invented atoms, okay? So in this manner, you cannot reduce one to you understand you must have all of them. You cannot reduce the hydrogen. This is the old mistake, like you are reducing entire reality of water. Like all philosophers try to do this, like Democrit invented the atoms, okay? Maybe they do not exist, like how do you know them? So now, if you understand, you cannot identify the cosmos, you cannot identify a single time of the cosmos, you cannot identify a matter to reduce it, the unification is false, because you cannot unify physics. Maybe I will tell you another time this, okay? So now, after I've told you the syllogism of René Descartes' syllogism, let me show to you this. So now let me show you this. So now if you understood, they were trying to unify, like they are pretending that they know the forces of nature. This guy says this. The gravity is a secondary concept of force. Newton force equal mass times acceleration. So electromagnetism, it is electricity and magnetism properties, okay? So now they are believing that you can unify this, like somehow to reduce all this to negation only, or to reduce all the operators to the conjunction and A and B to and. But you have to have the negation, the implication, and or an equivalency. You have to have many things, but it basically are not reduced themselves. So now they are believing that you can reduce the entire reality of the physics or some like these operators or forces, and they somehow interact. And now I've told you that they are mistaken. Gravity is a secondary derived concept of the force. Force is this hitting force. This body mass hits a body with a force. Gravity is a particular case of this force manifesting in a circle. So you cannot unite this force, and they are confusing. The two guys worked in the same time, Newton with Leibniz. Kinetic energy equal 1.5 mass time velocity squared. This is a second way of telling that a body with 2 times the speed hits 2 times harder. But so it is not energy, it is electric energy. It is a force energy. So, and they are understanding now that these are like Einstein unified this electricity with mass. And being stupid, they are believing that these are unifying somehow in a field. And you must understand this. You cannot bring all the matter in one place. You do not have a law of unifying all this stuff. You do not have it. So it's more prior force. So an electromagnetist, they are trying to do this. And they are believing somehow. You see that it is important. You decompose and compose matter. You decompose and compose it from something basic. This is what Anaximenes and Anaximandro, the Greek philosophers, try to reduce to water or fire or Thales from millet. Like you have a prior concept, logical concepts, and fire and water and things like this. And it's the same stupid mistake that we were doing in the prior, like 400 years before Christ. But did you not realize you cannot have something that will unite all the equations? They are different physics. One of them, and they do not believe that the Newton work on the same things with Leibniz in the same period. This thing. And these things are hitting force. How do you pull something? It is more basically because this is the force of gravity. Gravity means to rotate. It is not a fundamental force. The Newton force is a fundamental force. Force equal mass times acceleration. And you cannot unite this with electromagnetism. So now you unite the force of Newton electromagnetism, how this guy says in a Big Bang, somehow to fuse to make atoms. You understand that they are crazy, but I want to tell you supplementary this, okay? So I made this philosophy part combined with philosophy, if you understand, okay? So now if you understood that syllogism of René Descartes, this is a syllogism, okay? About time. I've told you that you have a Lego pieces like this, and each Lego piece, this means one of the things that Einstein took this relativity from Leibniz, okay? This piece has time in it, this piece has a time in it, and you cannot derive the time of this piece from this time of this piece. Each time, it's the only individual clock, like Lego. Time is like a Lego piece. But now you must understand, so it is inside the object, and now they are tricking you that you have an absolute time for all the matter, like you somehow identify the single point of operation of the matter, and you cannot of the entire cosmos. That, and I'm telling you that we cannot see our galaxy, that is a sphere, but you cannot collapse all the matter even on a galaxy that it says only one day with the speed of light, and we cannot see. You can put in a mirror telescope only one day with the speed of light, and we cannot see after this how the reality of all the matter. But I'm teaching you supplementary when these things will be found, okay? So listen now this to syllogism. They are very nice put and very easy. Like, not every part of an object is time, because all the objects will be all the object will be pure time and only time. You understand this? So not every part from an object or on an object is time. So now if you understood that, like you reduce of time, everything of time, you say that all this object is time. If all this object is time, this is what it's saying, this syllogism, then everything is time. You understand? So, but it is a tricky thing to proceed like this, because you see, not every part of an object is time. I wrote it here. You can pause and read it. A syllogism, okay? So you understand that there is a part of an object that it is atemporal somehow. So if you understand, if everything will be time in this object, everything, it is a substance like time, and you have the same problem, like reductionist problem, to this substance manifests itself in all the matter atoms. So if you understand, you take these atoms with the clocks, not all the atom is time. This is what the syllogism is saying, okay? Not all the atom is time, because if what it is an atom is time, then all that it is an atom is time. So you reduce this like a substance, temporal substance, everything. But this is more tricky than you are believing, because it means that there are some property of a hydrogen that are all temporal properties. So a property that manifests in time, but it is not time itself. So it is atemporal. You understand? So how can you derivate a single time for the properties, logical properties, electromagnetic properties of mass properties, knowing this, that the time itself sits somehow combined with the matter, like, you understand? So if you put this on space, I put it spatial syllogism, the time syllogism, okay? Like René Descartes, you can pause and read it. It is more hard, but you see, I could speak like that, guys. The Big Bang exploded and created some soup, and after 4,000 years, this electromagnetic bullshit science soup produced atom by fusing hydrogen in carbon. This is crazy, you understand? So this is crazy. This is correct way of thinking, okay? So syllogism about space, again, but with space. Not everything that is an object is space. You reduce the same of the spatial property. So there is something in object that is a pure property that is not spatial property. So these two combine, saying that there are some properties of an object that are spatial or temporal properties. Okay. So the reality is unreducible, logical, unreducible from how you are believing as current day. Okay. So this is on short what I wanted to tell you. Okay. More than this. Okay. Let's say now, because you understand that the Big Bang is false, and our galaxy is a sphere, and we cannot see beyond the sphere. It is a sphere surrounded by clouds, black clouds of ordinary matter, mainly hydrogen, oxygen. And in these clouds are put the stars. The stars are not made from hydrogen, because we cannot know how to produce light only from hydrogen. And light produced supposing many atoms. Okay, so these clouds that surrounds our galaxy like a sphere. That's why I began this video with the universe. We cannot see the totality of the creation or the cosmos, and they're taking themselves. We can see only one day with the speed of light. The galaxies are simply stars, clouds, like in a cloud, the vapor cloud of hydrogen, oxygen, electroshock clouds with electromagnetic clouds with pieces made from metals and crystals. The stars are not like our sun, and they are inside one day with the speed of light. Like it is surrounding small pieces. Imagine million trillion. Imagine if you can take from an ocean energy, and you put the lamps on the ocean, many lamps. You between Europe and America, you put lamps, and you extract from the water itself, being the battery, extract the light from the water itself. Imagine small pieces, objects, and when we walk with your ship, imagine you see light bulbs floating like full everywhere. This is how the board of our galaxy it is. Has only one day, and they are full of pieces that are extracting not in the clouds as is produce electromagnetic energy, like you have a thunder cloud, like you have a producing light thunder cloud. Okay, you know that a cloud is made from hydrogen, oxygen, and in the middle is a solar system. All the planets is surrounded by clouds, and the galaxy are stars. We do not live in that universe that they are telling you. So you cannot give this galaxy that's only one day to condense it. This is what I've told you, this philosophy. If you have this galaxy of ours that is surrounded by stars, small stars, more than the moon, believe me or not, that is the truth. And the galaxy is a star like a cloud from Earth-Moon cloud, full of pieces, like an ocean with full of pieces of metals. So you cannot have stars from hydrogen. This is what they are telling you. And I've told you that they do not know gravity. Gravity is not attraction. These two bodies do not attract, nor here nor in space. And the sun will attract, the earth will collapse, the earth and the sun. So now why I've told you this?
The idea that I think most physicists or cosmologists buy into at the moment is that gravity can have two manifestations. The usual form of gravity is the attractive version. You drop something toward the earth and it moves downward because the earth and the object pull on each other. That's the ordinary gravity that we experience every day of our lives. But Einstein's equations actually allow gravity to also be repulsive. It can push outward as opposed to just pulling inward. And this is something that we have never experienced because the gravity created by a rocky object like the Earth is always the attractive variety. The gravity created by the sun, again, a compact object, is always the attractive variety. But Einstein's math shows that if you don't have a rocky object that's isolated in space, but rather energy that is uniformly spread through a region of space, that kind of entity yields repulsive gravity. If the very early universe, if it was filled with a uniform bath of this energy, We call it the inflaton field. The name doesn't matter. But if it was filled with that energy, it would have been subject to repulsive gravity. What does repulsive gravity do? Pushes everything apart, causes everything to rush outward. So the bang of the Big Bang may have been a spark of repulsive gravity operating with a tiny region of space that pushed everything apart.
When they will discover, you understand that they cannot unite the physics. And we do not know what is beyond this, okay? And we do not know what is beyond this. And now if you are understanding this galaxy of ours, how it came the matter to be. So that's why I'm not speaking like them, because there's not single temporal, you can go back in an absolute time, even though the time is relative to the object, to the atoms. That's why I'm not speaking like them. But you being used to listen to this bullshit of them, you are believing that they're coherent. But they do not, okay? I am coherent, okay, if you listen close. But nonetheless, you listen or not, I must make this, okay? So now let's suppose this is all the matter of our galaxy. You cannot collapse it. You cannot. The energy need to understand, that's why I've told you, the density, the energy to collapse something 10 times that it is, like you have that problem to folding paper. You cannot fold paper 16 times, if you know this trick, okay? The similar, after the function on the graph goes to infinity. So they are pretending, let's say you have Mars planet, you want to collapse it. To collapse is to be this small. The energy required will be infinite. You understand? On the graph goes to infinity. So you cannot collapse Mars planet 10 times that is the dimension they actually has. So they are pretending that they go in the Big Bang with collapsing all the matter in infinite dense point. You cannot obtain this point. You can say, but you cannot obtain this, okay? You can say that you can collapse Mars planets in infinite dense point, but you could not collapse Mars planet in this dimension. The energy required will be infinite. So you do not have an infinite force to press Mars beyond 10 times the smaller density that it has. You understand? So now if you have all the stars in our galaxy, there is only one day with the speed of light, full of clouds, hydrogen, oxygen clouds, neon gases, noble gases, and metals and no metals and crystals, electroshock. This is the stars, and they do not produce flames like our sun. Could you collapse this? You could not. So you cannot destroy matter. You cannot, there's a principle, you cannot create and destroy matter, energy. So you cannot destroy it, but can you make it appear? And now you understand what I've told you, that from nothing, philosophical. So you have two options. Or this rock was eternal rock, or the energy of our galaxy. But even if you are supposing the matter itself, it is co-eternal with God. That's why I've told you there are two possibilities. Or the God created from nothing, or the matter itself is co-eternal with him. Or the God does not exist, but the matter, it is eternal. You understand? But to pretend that you can obtain it like a single temporal time, some back in, this is false. So even though I believe in God, I could not tell you that you can obtain for all these old rocks a single temporal time, because they're like, time is like Lego pieces. And I'm telling you, even though I believe in God, so these guys are falsifying the science, the logic, everything. But they did not propose even God. They only just want to falsify everything. Logic, science, philosophy, everything. Rational being. And I'm telling you, even though I believe in God, you cannot obtain from these four rocks a single temporal time. You cannot collapse the four rocks in the single origin. You cannot.
It could be that the Big Bang was an interesting event, but not the first event in the totality of reality. It could have been the first event that sparked the expansion of our part of space. But it could be that there's a grander realm of space within which we sit as a small part, and that grander realm may have been there for a far longer period of time. It may have experienced its own big bangs, maybe a collection of big bangs that may extend infinitely far into the past. So it could be that the answer to the question of what happened before the Big Bang is a lot of other Big Bangs or a lot of other quantum events that were taking place in a larger landscape of reality than we have direct access to.
So they are pretending that somehow from Hubble times that he says that the Andromeda was receding, was going away from us. But now we see it's approaching, okay? Andromeda is a star. Just think a cloud full of pieces, and it's in one day with the speed of light. But then you cannot bring all this matter in original point. You cannot disappear matter, because the energy of collapse beyond a certain density will go to infinity. So can you destroy matter? But if you break some cars and you hit them, like in a hadron colliders, like an accelerated particle, can you say that from the pieces that you hit two cars, you create the cars? This is another stupid reason that they made. They accelerate something, they hit like two rocks, and the rocks will break. You are not allowed to say that from the pieces that break was the car made. That is so stupid, okay? So now, from where the matter of our galaxy came, there is beyond our galaxy matter identical like with ours. We do not know. Maybe sometimes we'll go with some ships beyond these clouds of matter. So one day, where the stars end, it is one day clouds, hydrogen, oxygen, empty of stars, but like clouds. But we have one day with the speed of light, and beyond this we do not see. We do not know what it is. Maybe it is matter like ours. Maybe it's some kind of other matter. That's why I've told you. We do not know how matter. That's why I've told you that's clouds. How the ordinary matter of this current day can be arranged. You can have a river of mercury between two clouds in empty space and not to be a necessity to be a round spherical body. But now, to do not be tricked, if you understood the whole logic of I am logical, okay, style philosophy, okay, I discovered Big Bang is false, it's not a joke, okay. So now, from nothing, could appear this rock from nothing. This is the problem. That's why I brought you this problem. God creating from nothing, it is not the same logical reasoning like from nothing, the rocking. If you say that the rocks or all the matter for our galaxy came from nothing, you have this problem. Why we stopped? So nothingness, pure void, nothingness, empty concept, nothing, okay, began to create. Why created only 1 kilograms and stop? Why? Why has some reasoning, you understand? So it created a small rock from nothing and stopped. Why? Why that did not stop? If from nothing appeared this rock, why does not stop of this only this rock? Why he created two rocks from nothing? Why? And why then stop? Why did not produce an infinite matter from nothing? So this is falsifying the entire reasoning to say that nothing is empty, zero, nothing, okay, object without a concept, or a concept without an object, like Kant says, defines in 4-way nothing, okay. So now from nothing, you understand why it appears 1 kilogram, or our galaxy full with all the energy. You cannot reduce it as a prior light, a prior soup, that radiations. You cannot destroy atoms to reduce it to soup. I've told you. So now, how you can have atoms, and why does this stop? Okay, let's say that this rock comes from nothing. Why it stop only at this rock? Nothing. So it is not strange then that nothing produces an infinite matter. So that's why the problem then came in this argument. It is the matter eternal, or it is has a beginning. The beginning now. The beginning now, it is not a single beginning. If you understood, the beginning is somehow a temporal beginning. This rock has not a same origin with this rock. There's two Lego pieces of time that not came from a single temporal time, absolute time. So the origin, it is somehow temporal in two ways, coming from this syllogy, space, time is space itself, it is not property of matter. It is something else, and time itself is not a property of matter, it is something else. So you have space, time, and some properties of matter appear simultaneously, not in an order of time. So if you say a property like kilogram mass or color of the light, or the color, it is not the color of time, okay, it's color property in philosophy, okay. So you have many properties that with space-time that appear not in a function of time from original time, but somehow you understand this whole thinking processes, the whole philosophy, but these guys forget, and they are making the same bullshit philosophy like this reductionism of the water, like Thales from Milet and Anaximenes philosopher, and the atoms were invented by Democritus, okay. So if you understand, this has a logic, an entire video, okay. So now the time, from where the time appeared, you understand, it is many pieces of time. It is not a single time everywhere. This time somehow does not having something in common this time. So there are two pieces of Lego of time from where did they appear with the properties of matter. You cannot collapse it, you cannot make them soup. So you have some Lego pieces like coming from nothing, already made somehow to function with the clock, with the spatial properties, with the anatomical properties of temperature, of melting points, of some manifesting together. Like that's I told you, water with salt combines, okay. And it's not an electric combination. You cannot extract electric energy when the salt combines with water, okay. So the electron and proton from the chemistry is not the electron and proton from the physics, okay. So now these atoms like Lego pieces, you cannot break him, destroy them, made them from energy, and if you hit some hydrogen atoms in laboratory, you are stupid to suppose that from that pieces the car came. The car were constructed somewhere and you hit them like an accelerator, okay. So now from where the matter come, and why it is finite. This is why I told you all the matter is coexist or eternal. You have this logical problem. An existence creates an existence modifies and creates an existence, and this rock is this rock like a domino, infinite domino. It is not a bother for me, a philosophical bother, and I'm not going to lie to you. There could be this eternal process, okay. In this way you have to admit an eternal matter, but now you understand. So you do not have a time when it appeared. It is somehow eternal, temporal, with different eternal properties, but it is this eternal matter properties. I like Lego pieces. Why they have finite ways of combining themselves. So there is a matter that is from eternity like this, and is a finite way of combining. Hydrogen combines oxygen like this, and because you cannot destroy this. So that's destruction stuff, and going to the soup of the Big Bang to lie to you to not understand this. So now you have the properties of the copper and iron from eternity being like this. So you understand? So why? Of finite properties. Can you modify the many infinite properties of this finite matter to make from copper infinite properties arrangements to change the law of interaction at infinite, and there is an infinite changing like an evolution on time. It is not an absolute time. Billion, trillions, 13 billions, it is not, okay. If you understood all of this is like training in logic and philosophy, and science, to not be tricked, okay. So we cannot destroy matter. It is even a law, and energy you cannot create it. But energy is not electric energy. Energy is a kinetic energy of impact. Leibniz named this from Greek. This has a kinetic energy of impact due to mass. 1.5 times mass velocity squared, okay? And Newton formula, force equal mass times acceleration. There are two equations for the... So this is telling you that the science is wrong, okay? So when they will find out that the Big Bang is false and our galaxy is only one day with the speed of light, it is not a spiral, it's a sphere, and what they are saying that the galaxies are simply star clouds for the matter. You cannot obtain stars, how this guy says, from hydrogen. This will be the question. What is beyond this? And they will reduce again this reductionism, how the matter can appear. And this is the problem. It appears from a single substance, like an Anaximenes said, like from water, like or apeiron, he said, a substance, prior substance. That apeiron is like radiation. For this Greek philosopher, apeiron is a prior substance that modifies itself and makes everything. This, you understand how stupid are these guys? They do not know even their science. The gravity is not attraction, it's force mass times acceleration. Put in a circle, and they falsify everything. And they are maintaining an old philosophy like Greek philosophy, ancient philosophy, reductionist philosophy to a single substance. You cannot reduce the entire universe at energy, electric energy. This rock does not have energy. Not all this rock is energy. Like if you can make the syllogism again, not this old rock is mass, energy, or time. Has many properties in it. Not only you cannot produce energy from this, okay? Einstein did not say that energy equal mass times c squared, like equating mass, and it is false science, I will tell you. So now you cannot break, you cannot destroy this sphere that is our galaxy to collapse all the stars or the planet. They interdict the density, is going to require infinite force. But even you cannot create it from an apeiron or a single substance from nothing. And that's why I described to you. You have this solution. The nothingness created 1 kilogram. Why 1 kilogram? Why not 2 kilograms? And why it stopped? And if he created the nothingness, why he created limited combination in matter? Or the matter is eternal existence, but then why it is finite? In some sense, it is infinite, like everywhere you go is iron, but why it are infinite, finite combination between atoms and between lights and energy and mass and things like this, and heating and things like this. So why it is an eternal, infinite, finite relation between, and why appear 1 kilogram, not 2, and why it stop? And what it is more harder to produce from nothing, a kilogram or 2 kilograms from nothing? You understand? So now if you put God, you have two possibilities. We were discussing in philosophy, these things are discussed, are disputed, okay, in philosophy. I told you, study philosophy. So there are two possibilities. The matter is eternal with God, or the God made. Or you have the third possibility, the matter itself is eternal, finite or infinite in combination. And I'm not lying to you, I've told you all the possibilities.
It could be that the Big Bang was an interesting event, but not the first event in the totality of reality. It could have been the first event that sparked the expansion of our part of space. But it could be that there's a grander realm of space within which we sit as a small part, and that grander realm may have been there for a far longer period of time. It may have experienced its own Big Bangs, maybe a collection of Big Bangs that may extend infinitely far into the past. So it could be that the answer to the question of what happened before the Big Bang is a lot of other Big Bangs or a lot of other quantum events that were taking place in a larger landscape of reality than we have direct access to.
These parallel universes, a membrane hitting another membrane, supposing an interaction between the matter how we know it. If you say the existence interacts in this way. You have another, you multiply the existence, you have the same logical problems. Like you have two universes made from the same substances and they are collapsing. You can put these two universes in a single one because if they are same substances, they are interacting in the same manner. So you do not have the need to multiply this rational thing to understand. If you have a single totality or a cosmos, this is the cosmos of a universe of matter. If you have a totality of existence, you cannot suppose that there is another one. A totality means everything that it is. Everything that it is matter-like. You do not suppose a parallel universe that there are two ways, or two bodies will touch each other in an existence manner, in existential manner, so then they are one because they have interaction, causal space-time interaction between them, or they do not have a contact between them. So in this way, a world is unknown for another world. So you have two universes made from two existences, different existences. They do not touch. Like you have two hands, but you cannot touch them anyway. A hand do not know another hand, cannot know another hand. They cannot touch, they do not exist one for another. So in one sense you have only one totality of existence, and you discuss in this totality. So I'm teaching you how to be. So this is a series of philosophy series, okay? I was sick and tired science philosophy. I started to feel myself straight like this. I will feel myself like this. If you know, like in an angle, like this was fun for me, okay? But now I start to feel myself like this, and I take everything that I can. Again, philosophy, space-time, the creation, cosmos, everything. That to understand that not only that I discover, but to let something beyond me on this channel, okay, and you to have to think about not being tricked on the okay. So now you cannot create or destroy matter.
The simplest models, in which Big Bang was caused by quantum fluctuations. The universe came into existence instantly, in our perspective, due to the absence of perceived time before the Big Bang. Models include the Hartle-Hawking no-boundary condition, in which the whole of spacetime is finite. The Big Bang does not represent the limit of time, but without any singularity. In such case, the universe is self-sufficient. Brain cosmology models, in which inflation is due to the movement of brains in string theory. The pre-Big Bang model, the ekpyrotic model, in which the Big Bang is the result of a collision between brains, and the cyclic model, a variant of the ekpyrotic model, in which collisions occur periodically. In the latter model, the Big Bang was preceded by a big crunch, and the universe cycles from one process to the other. Eternal inflation is the model in which universal inflation ends locally here and there in a random fashion, each end point leading to a bubble universe, expanding its own Big Bang. Proposals in these categories see the Big Bang as an event in either a much larger and older universe or in a multiverse. While we currently do not understand, or may very well never understand, how the universe spawned into existence, and whether questions like, what was there before the Big Bang, make any sense, scientists will nevertheless continue searching for answers.
So you have a totality of existence, matter existence. This totality of existence has finite properties, and it is infinite. So it is infinite in matter and eternal in existence, but has a finite way of arranging itself. So what do you take from this? Okay, so now you have the second possibility, that is into like the dichotomy. It means this is a dichotomy in philosophy. You have God with matter that is eternal with him, and God that created matter at a prior time. Now the time this is how it is related by Moses. He says God created. So God, it is prior the creation, but it does not says like a temporal stuff. It says in the beginning. The beginning has no dimension. The beginning is without temporal. That's like in an instance created. God created. You see the necessity if you understand that this has a time and this has another time. You cannot derive from 0.001 that's continuum. This is a continuum mathematics continuum, spatial mathematics continuum. You cannot derive this time. This means a quanta. It is like a miracle jump from this time of this rock to into this time. So it is a beginning creation of both times of them. In the beginning, I created two clocks that are functioning different and they are interact different. You understand? So a clock shows to you like an hour has some properties, another shows to you another way, another has some properties. You cannot derive this one from this one. And these are the tricks that Parmenides invented, like existence, like there's no movement. If you know, maybe I will see this video, and I will see what I will make supplementary to understand that I'm crazy. The Big Bang is false. We live in a galaxy that is a sphere, and these guys do not know even science. It is scary for you or not, it is the truth. And the stars are close and the galaxies are simply stars. And cold, they're not like a sun. Giordano Bruno was between the first to identify the stars with the sun. But the stars are cold pieces of metals, electroshock put in clouds, okay? And beyond this, we do not know what it is. So now, what Moses says, in the beginning God created both times. You cannot derive from an origin of time. Both times must be simultaneous. In another way, you have to have the atom and the property of light. The time is in a wave of light, and the atom then emits the light. So in this way, you have two clocks that interact made in the same time. So this is in the beginning a philosophical manner of Moses saying, in the beginning God created the time itself, not like a single time, like all the times. When the Lego pieces, if you, my dog, I live at a house, I have a dog. So when these Lego pieces were created in that day, you say in that day at this factory, all these Lego toy pieces, okay, but they have different waves or arrangements, and you can produce from them a car, you can produce a crane from them, or different toys, okay. But when they were produced at that factory, all of them at once, the Lego piece, a small Lego piece, do not produce a bigger one. This is what Moses says. In the beginning, God created the time itself, like manifesting in all its appearances, in all the Lego pieces, with all the dimensions in the beginning. And now they are understanding wrong that when he says, let there be light, appear the universe somehow. But no, because if you follow the process of creation, he says, there was a cloud of water. This is what Moses says, and the Spirit of God was of the deep of the waters. And it was dark. In that water, that is water, like hydrogen, oxygen, he pronounced the light. And from that, it sounds for them good, like the God said, let there be light. This is not the beginning of creation. Moses says in the beginning God created all the manifestation, the sky and the earth, all of the matter. In the beginning, like temporal, at some instant, you cannot bring them back in the single point like these are trying this current day. Stupid, like child philosophy, child science, and crazy and lying science. Not only that is crazy, that you understand as it is pissing me off. Okay, so They do not know gravity. They're falsifying everything is radiation, and they're falsifying thermodynamics, and they do not speak science. They negate God and everything. And I'm telling you, I could lie to you, but I was not, because you cannot prove. This is the fight all this century, and this is why the Hubble took the part by lying that Andromeda is receding. It's not going anywhere, Andromeda. And the redshift is false, invented by Doppler. He said an object from far you can see red. The light does not do anything. The holes in the spectrum means something else, okay? Okay, so they falsify temperature, they falsify everything, okay? So you have matter, no matter how many they are. Maybe there is another galaxy now, maybe there are not. We do not know what is beyond this. We know only this. But can you bring this, this is what I'm telling you, can you bring this in a single temporal time? You cannot. Can you destroy this matter? You cannot. We do not know any processes. Can you lie that the hydrogen makes carbon? You can lie this entire planet, but you not have a science to lie them on school that you know how the hydrogen fusing carbon. And I give you water and you make me. And why the Americans, the Chinese will extract from mines the copper? You take water and from the sea and you transform it in copper if you lie this humanity in tin. In iron, if you are laying this planet somehow far away, children's story, the star fused carbon in no written coherent paper or written, only with stupid words. So can you destroy this? You cannot. Can you create this from something? You cannot. Because you do not have a single matter like in philosophy, a pattern or a substance that can you combine to make all of this. That's why in the beginning everything somehow was made. Like it is a necessity for all the pieces to make from them something. And you cannot derive them, you cannot reduce them to energy or mass. This is wrongly understood. That's why Einstein is wrong. Einstein understood that energy is electric energy. It is not. It is a heating energy of mechanical work made by Leibniz. 1.5 mass time velocity. It means that you hit 2 times the harder with an object with a 2 times speed. It hits 2 times harder. And the same force of Newton says, okay, they say that's why the science is wrong, because this is the basis of the science. And if you can lie this planet billions of years, with billions of years and stupid science like this, you see in the pictures and you are believing that you are seeing trillion billions years with your naked eyes, the stars. If you lie in this planet, we'll never go to the planets, will not colonize the moon or these planets that they are real and exist, and we see never what it is at the stars and what is beyond the stars if you like this. So that's why I made my video to explain to you how I could, okay? So for the God, is this a problem if he made a kilogram mass to make 2 kilogram masses? So it is not a problem, because the same miracle to produce 1 kilogram and 2 kilogram from nothing. Okay, so the another part to say how the matter is coexisting, you cannot suppose this only to believing, okay, that is not coexisting. But somebody telling you this is a belief, that was not original with God, matter was created. And that's why I've told you, it's like a negation on existence. You can suppose some prior existent object to negate, like you negate the entirety of this mind with these logical processes. Like I have a mind and I have like with all these logical processes and this, you cannot create negation from conjunction and implication, okay? But I have this and I negate everything. And from that negation of me, basically, I use that like a building block for everything else. So in this way, you understand this on short. So now, if we made this galaxy, could make another galaxies. But we do not know. We must go with a ship. We could, at this current technology, 90 years will take us, like you will reach the clouds, like dark clouds, and the stars are cold, and you go one day with the speed of light. 90 years until the stars, the end of the stars will take with us with current technology, and to go through these clouds another 19 years. So 180 years to go to reach. And I'm telling you what it is beyond from a saint. He says that it is light. But if you believe this, from a Greek saint 300 after Christ, he said that our galaxy is a sphere and are surrounding like a tent, blocks the light. This tent, this membrane, or this rakia, or this firmament membrane, hydrogen oxygen membrane, acts like a tent, he says, when you go in the full day with the sun being above and with a tent with a thick crust like this, and it blocks the sun, it is dark inside the tent. That's why it's dark. It's not void, pure void, dark clouds. And he says this in a book, and I believe this, okay? And our galaxy is only one day with the speed of light. Light diminishes with distance. I'm telling you, it diminishes with distance. You can put in a telescope only one day. They can light observe 3 billion years after Big Bang. So that's why I'm telling you, God, this is another for another video. If God was making a kilogram mass, he has power to make like the humans. It is not stopping how many children can be infinite. The man in the current known process can give birth to infinite children. Like this, if you can make a kilogram, nothing stops you to make another kilogram. Only if you suppose that it is a finite matter that God had to modulate, like you have some plastilene and something like you have some wood and you carve, but you only have that wood. So in this manner, you understand that could be a finite matter, and why he had a finite matter from eternity, like he had a piece of matter like from eternity. All the matter is finite from eternity. So I've told you how to reasoning, and I intersect this with some physics, but real physics, because these guys are crazy, okay? This, he says clearly 3 times that the earth attracts, two body attract. Two body does not attract, nor here nor in space. Nor if the sun will attract the earth, will collapse. And nothing could stop them. And he lies that Einstein makes somehow a repulsive force, an energy that repulses, that is acting on anti-gravity, repulsing force. That's with these lies will not go at the stars, never. And I've told you to teach you how to understand some philosophy of existence of matter. So there exists like all the process and the necessity of light, they are created. The light is a wave with some properties and with time and space inside it, and you cannot derive the time of a wave of light from space. This is to reduce a concept to another concept. You cannot reduce space to time, and you relate them. So you have a wave of light. You cannot reduce the colors of light at time. You cannot reduce the movement only to space. You cannot reduce. You have to have this package, and this package must have be entailed at once. If you understood, you cannot derive like from zero temporal time the light itself from zero to like an atom or a particle of light. Let's say this is a particle of time and you derive them from zero. This is mathematical tricks in the logic of mathematics. You have 0, 0.1, 0.2, 0. And from zero somehow you are giving the impression like you pull a cube from nothing, like on a computer screen. From zero you will make it big and big. And somehow you trick yourself that it is produced, but you cannot do this. When you have a particle of light, you cannot make it from another thing. You must have a function of time of it. You must have some properties of colors, of movement, of interaction at once programmed like in the piece. And you can falsify to try to reduce this 4 and 4, this falsified logic, if you understand. to make it some energy, some radiation, so a big video. But I've told you, this is what I wanted, okay? Maybe will make 2 videos from this, I will see, or only one big one. Let's see how big it is, and I will insert the 10 minutes that how these guys are saying. They're speaking like, we do not know how to put the time, we go in minus time, now it's 14 billion, so but like a joke. If you 1 billion, 2 billion, but if you go 13 billions, there's no 13 billions. You cannot, this rock does not have 13 billion years. You understand? As the time is a Lego piece on, like, and it is a Lego piece, like, does something from T0 to T1, does exactly the same thing at the same time, always. We do not know how come, but it does, and it is scary that these things are exist and are functioning like this. But you cannot falsify them by colliding atoms in laboratory to say that by colliding 2 cars, the cars came from the pieces, from the collision. Wrong thinking, like this current day. And to falsify it for hydrogen, you have copper. You to falsify that is a density, you can collapse density how do you want. To falsify Newton, to lie the entire planet, that you know what Einstein said, Einstein's false physics. He do not understood that the kinetic energy of Leibniz is force energy per mass. And you do not understand this at this current day, and you are believing that dark energies and this crazy stuff things and wormholes and parallel universes and things like this, and you do not believe that it is this. Okay, so this is a big video, maybe 2. Let's see it. If you have the power, listen it. Okay,
there's nothing wrong before, we just don't have any data. I don't mind going into negative time. I have no problem with that. I don't mind resetting where the 0 point is. Time is just, where you put the 0 is arbitrary, as it continues to be this day with calendars. And so the starting point is just where you want to put it. And so right now, a pretty good starting point is the Big Bang. We don't know how to put it earlier than that. But if the day comes where a whole new kind of understanding of the universe reveals to us before that, I don't have any problems pushing the 0 point back or just counting into negative years.
I will watch it and I will make maybe another one. Okay, it was very hot here, it's summer. Even in Romania, I'm from Romania, from the European Union, okay? And I discovered the Big Bang is false, and I discovered the stars are close, and the stars are cold, and we can go colonize Mars now with our current technology. With the rockets that Chinese have, Long March rockets, we can go now to the Mars. We can go on the moon now. We can make like at the stars, we can make close to the stars, like a base, like nowadays is the International Space Station. But with these lies, falsifying science, by lying all the schools on all this planet, you understand how crazy they are, the professors. By lying that they know physics. All the stuff were inventions, and they say that they from their science came. And they're falsifying science. They're tricking you. I'm telling you, they're tricking you. The computer was an invention. The microwave was an invention. Everything is invention. The car is an invention. The glass, the city is an invention. Everything in it. And they are saying that from stupid science, this gravity science, that attraction, primordial force of gravity, they're crazy. And you are believe that I'm telling you. And we can go to the stars. And who is speaking more correctly, my friends, okay? So maybe a hard video, I will watch it, and maybe I say my goodbyes. This is my, like I usually do this, okay? Many times. But goodbye, God bless. My science of the coffee science, this is soluble coffee, about existence, non-existence. How can you appear matter? How many kilograms can you appear it from nothing? If you can, it is eternal or not. There are maybe another galaxies like ours. Like in this current day says that they have planets and things like that. That's why I've told you the matter can be arranged in more mysterious ways than in spherical rocks. You can have rivers. You can have rivers in empty space, in some clouds, in electromagnetic fields. You can have rivers of gallium. It is melting in your palm. 30 degrees melting point of the gallium temperature. If you have 30 degrees in space Celsius, you can have a river of gallium. You do not understand that it flows and come back somehow. And it is not a planet. It is not nothing. It is a river in empty space of gallium. They do not understand this. And I'm telling you, the matter is more, it is more wonderful than you are believing. You can have in this river, we do not know, lights, caves, we do not know, okay, how the matter. So there could be many galaxies like this, maybe this only one like ours, okay. And Saint Peter says that the skies were ruled, but angel skies. A prior sky was made prior us. That extraterrestrial that you want to say that they come from these galaxies. They say this to trick you. These extraterrestrials were old angels, but they are not like in a galaxy with matter like ours. And some of them are trying to trick you, this false science of these bad extraterrestrials, okay? But they are beyond this. They are not original for this one, from this one. And I've told you. Okay, goodbye, God bless. Let's see this. Okay, I've told you this already. And then maybe I will make another video. I will make for sure, okay, a philosophical video like this. Goodbye. Like, share and subscribe. This is like stupid for me, but I must tell you. That's a stupid for me to film myself like this. I have many videos like this, but I said maybe this is something that somebody will hate it, to see me like from apart. So I started to film myself in a perpendicular manner. Okay, goodbye, God bless.